Hello, this is Jacob Jans with Writing Launch. Right now, I'm going to tell you something very exciting. Well, it's exciting because I love copywriting and I love freelance copywriting, and I want to tell you how to find copywriting jobs, even if you don't have any previous experience at all. And I'm even going to tell you how I got one of my first copywriting jobs, and I didn't show a portfolio or really demonstrate any previous copywriting experience when I got that job. So here's the presentation. First, I want to talk about why I love copywriting. It's maybe one of my most favorite forms of writing, and I say that as someone who's done a lot of copywriting over the years and a lot of writing in general. So I really like copywriting because you get to actually make a real change in the world. When you are a good copywriter and when your words go out there as a copywriter, your words can change people's lives. They can convince them to take actions and to do things that actually matter for them and for the businesses that you're working for. And the other thing that I really love about copywriting is it's not subjective. When you have a specific goal with your writing, whether it's to generate new business or new leads or to create sales or just to make money for the company you're writing for, you can judge your work objectively by looking at the actual results that your work as a writer is creating. And that's part of why I really love copywriting, is because it's so concrete. You don't have to guess as to whether your copywriting is working or not, at least if you're doing it correctly. Which many copywriters unfortunately don't know the process for objectively judging their work. But that's something we teach at Writing Launch. So that's also what I love about copywriting, is it's not subjective. You know, or you can know whether or not it actually is good writing. And also, this is a big reason, frankly, is with the right knowledge and skill as a copywriter, you can earn a lot of money. I've written emails that were maybe 80 words and they ended up making in excess of $12,000. That's just a small example of how effective and powerful putting words down into the form of copywriting can be. So this leads to another reason I really love copywriting. And I'm going to talk about this more in a minute, but a lot of people think copywriting or sales writing or sales in general is about being tricky or deceptive. But to be good at copywriting, it's actually about being a good human and really connecting with other people and showing that you have compassion, empathy, and understanding, and really doing the right thing for other people and providing a service. So this leads to the first myth that a lot of people have about copywriting, sales, and this type of thing in general, is that you have to trick, coerce, manipulate, deceive, or otherwise get people to do things they don't want to do. And let me just tell you, if you're doing copywriting from a place like this, sure, you may be successful, but you're not going to be nearly as successful if you are copywriting in the way that the real masters do, the really good copywriters do. And here's the truth. Good copywriting requires giving people what they want. And how do you really know what people want? Think about it. There are people in your life who maybe even every day you convince them to do things, and often you convince these people to do things that are best for them. Think about the people you care about most. There are things you want for them, and not only that, there are things that you know they want, and you strive to get those people to have the things they want in their life. And that is what copywriting really comes down to. And to do that well, you need to have empathy and understanding for people and compassion and understanding. You have to, and even love. You have to really, to be a really good copywriter, you have to just show and demonstrate a good understanding and even love for the people you are writing for and who will be reading your words, because really the more honestly you can communicate with them and the more profoundly you can connect with them and the better you're writing, the closer it gets to this state where it is almost like you're presenting something of love for the people that you are writing for, who will be reading what you're writing. Now, that isn't to say a lot of people don't do that tricky, sneaky kind of copywriting, but really that's not the right way to do it. This empathy, compassion, understanding, and love, that is the right way to do real and good copywriting. So here's another myth. Potential clients, people that you will be hired by to do the copywriting, care whether you have a portfolio or not. And the truth is that clients, they only care about solving their unique problems. So if you think about what I said with the first myth, where the truth is you have empathy, understanding, love, compassion, caring for the people that you are trying to convince to do something with your words, which is what copywriting is. The same thing is true when you are working to get clients. If you really understand their unique needs and you can fulfill their unique needs as a copywriter, then that's what they care about. Now, they may want to see a portfolio, but if they're asking for something like a portfolio, it's because you haven't used your ability as a copywriter or a salesperson to convince them that you're able to fulfill their needs. And that's important, and something that as you learn more about copywriting will become easier and easier, is for you to communicate that you are capable and skilled at fulfilling the needs and solving the unique problems of your clients, whether or not you have a portfolio. And here's another myth, and I understand why a lot of people spend time searching on job boards, because really it takes very little effort to browse the internet and look for writing jobs, and even to fill out an application for a copywriting job. You don't have to take any real risk to fill out a form online, but really that's not the best way to get copywriting jobs, especially if you want to make the most money. The truth is that job boards are overcrowded, they're demeaning, and they're extremely competitive. And not only that, when you are on a job board, you don't have a chance really to connect on a personal level with your potential clients. So it's very difficult to set yourself apart if you don't actually have a chance to have a one-on-one conversation with the person you're potentially going to work for, which when you're beginning your freelance copywriting career, that's something I really recommend, is to spend time talking to people and learning about their unique needs so that you can really focus on serving them and fulfilling the needs that they uniquely want. And it takes effort and time to do that and to get to know them. And the better you get to know people, the easier it is to provide that value and to convince them that you can provide that value. So stay away from the job boards. So really, if you want to get the best copywriting jobs, you have to connect directly with potential clients. And this is especially true if you're just getting started. And I know it can be scary to talk to people one-on-one, and maybe that's not for you. Maybe you don't want to do the necessary steps to get the really good copywriting jobs. But for those who are willing to do that work, this is what you need to do. You need to connect directly with potential clients. So that is actually how I got my first freelance copywriting job. And getting this job didn't involve showing anyone a portfolio or really any of my previous work. At the time, many years ago, I was working in a co-working space, which was basically a bunch of desks for people who work independently. And one of the other people working in this co-working space was a computer programmer, and he worked with a number of clients, but he wasn't a writer. So I got to know him a little bit. We went out to lunch and we said hello regularly, and we built a relationship. And he knew that I was a writer, and he knew that I knew a few things about copywriting. But more importantly than that, when I talked to him, I spent a lot of time just listening to ideas that he had and making him feel understood and listened to. And so we built that relationship, and then a couple weeks later he said, "Hey Jacob, I have a client. I just did this big programming project for them, but they need someone to do some email copy in order to launch the project. So he gave me the phone number, did an introduction via email, and I talked to the client. And on the phone conversation with the client, he did not ask me for a portfolio. He didn't really even ask much about my previous experience. And I think the reason why is because I really listened very closely to what he was saying, and I made it very clear I understood what his unique needs were in order to launch the project. He was someone who was extremely busy. He wanted me to work independently, and I made it clear I could do that. And so I told him what I wanted for the job, and he accepted my bid, and that was that. I think it was, I don't know, I think it was $600, and that was for writing a couple of emails and doing a little bit of minor revision on the landing page where they would end up on the website. So I'm now going to present with you a really simple process for you to get your own first copywriting jobs without any portfolio. So the step one is to find people who need a copywriter. I know this is like obvious once you put it there, but a lot of people end up on places like job boards and whatnot. And like I said, I want you to avoid job boards. So there are a lot of people who actually need copywriters who aren't out actively searching for them. And these people are like web design agencies, and this is really a great source of potential copywriting work. Every city has dozens of web design agencies, and even small towns have them, often more than one or two. And these web design agencies have a constant need for copywriting, and for good copywriting, for someone who can fulfill that need as a copywriter. So if you can connect with these web design agencies, they are a really good source for copywriting work. Another thing you can do, and another place where you can find a lot of these web design agencies, is local networking groups. I know a lot of technology people meet at these groups, and if you approach these groups as a writer, you don't have to be a technology person because they are, but you can get to know them and let them know you're a copywriter and that you have skill as a copywriter, and then build that relationship that will eventually lead to the work. And of course, you should let your friends, family, and acquaintances know that you are available for hire as a copywriter. And of course, there's always entrepreneurs, people who are busy and who do maybe copywriting on occasion. And if you can find them, often at local networking groups through friends or family, acquaintances, let them know you're available as a copywriter, but more than that, build a relationship with them. So when it's time for them to find someone to do the work, they think of you and they like you. So step two is you build that human connection. You build a relationship with the people who need copywriting work or who will need copywriting work in the future. So just take them out to coffee or lunch and listen to them, listen to their problems, their needs. And you'll notice this is very, very related to what I was talking about earlier in terms of being a good copywriter. Is when you're a good copywriter, you are very good at understanding and listening and fulfilling the needs of the people that your copywriting is going to reach. And it's the same thing when you are working with potential clients, is you need to make sure that you understand their unique needs and they feel listened to and understood as well. And of course, at that point, you need to, once they feel understood and listened to, and if they know you're a copywriter, they will think, oh, I should ask you to be the person to complete this copywriting job. So the next step is you simply maintain the relationships you've built with potential clients. You continue to listen to them and ask for referrals, and you continue to establish your credibility, which if you're studying copywriting, you'll get better and better at that, and you'll learn more and more techniques and ways to communicate your ability to be a good copywriter. So this leads to another point where I know this, maybe this seems a little cheesy, but good copywriting is love. If you think about the people you love in your life, the words you use with them, and the way you continually strive to get to know them better, you're able to convince them to do things. And you can do that because you really are looking out for them the best that you can. You want the best for them. And sometimes you know what the best option is for the other person, and you really want to convince that person of that, whatever it may be. And that's the same when you're really doing good copywriting. You're really thinking about the best interests of everyone involved, the business that you are trying to support with your writing, as well as the potential customers of the business, and you're bringing them together and creating the situation that's best for everybody. And that's what good copywriting is. So it's really creating a human connection with your words, and that's something that I find to be wonderful. Copywriting can really be wonderful, and it can just bring so much value to so many people. I'm maybe a bit of an evangelist. Maybe I'm coming off a little too strong here, but I really think copywriting is wonderful. So, and here's the other thing. If you're interested in learning copywriting, the wonderful thing about it is learning copywriting helps you get copywriting jobs. It doesn't even just help you get copywriting jobs. It helps you get any sort of jobs. The better you get at communicating value, the better you get at understanding other people, and the better you get at using your words and your writing to communicate value, to communicate understanding, empathy, and to make people take action based on your unique understanding of them and your love and support for them, then that's just a wonderful thing. Not only does it can help any aspect of your life, and of course, it can help you get copywriting jobs. So that is it for my presentation for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, feel free to email us. Thank you for listening.